So you have to write the main heading magnetic materials. Now listen to this. If B is equal to phi by A, can I say the formula for flux is BA? Can I say the formula for flux is BA? Because now these two things you should know from 11th standard. One is magnetic flux phi and one is magnetic field of induction B. One is magnetic flux phi and one is magnetic field of induction B. So listen to this. If I say what is magnetic flux denoted by, it will be phi. Now what is the formula for phi? Formula for phi is magnetic field of induction into area. And what is the unit? Unit is Weber. Next, Aryan, look at this. Magnetic field of induction B. And what is the formula for magnetic field of induction? Flux upon area. And what is the unit of magnetic field of induction? Weber per meter square or Tesla or Newton per ampere meter. Now, this is not something new. This is in your 11th standard magnetism, which I'm just giving you a revision of. So make a note of these two formulae. One is magnetic flux and one is magnetic field of induction. Magnetic flux is phi and magnetic field of induction is B. Make a note of these two things first, quick. So the first thing you will write is this, and the second thing you will write is this, correct? Now, the SI unit of magnetic field of induction is Tesla. Magnetic field of induction is Tesla. But sometimes what happens is they will give you magnetic field of induction in CGS unit. CGS unit is Gauss. They will give the magnetic field of induction in CGS unit, that is Gauss. And the conversion between Gauss and Tesla is 1 Gauss is equal to 10 power minus 4 Tesla. That means in any question that you get, if the question is in Gauss, you have to convert it into Tesla. The conversion is 1 Gauss is equal to 10 power minus 4 Tesla. Make a note. The conversion is 1 Gauss is equal to 10 power minus 4 Tesla. Okay. Now the other two formulae that I have written will be used in this chapter, but these are not something new. These are something you should know. One is from your 11th standard. What is the general formula for magnetic moment? Magnetic moment is NIA. You have studied this in your 11th standard also. In fact, in 11th standard, you had studied two formulae for magnetic moment. Magnetic moment M is equal to NIA. This was the first formula. And QM into 2L was the second formula, if you remember. Pole strength into magnetic length. But this is one formula which you should know. Magnetic moment is equal to NIA. Everyone is aware of this formula. Magnetic moment M is equal to NIA, where what is M? Magnetic moment. What is N? Number of turns. What is I? I is current. And what is A? A is area. This is the formula for magnetic moment, again from 11th standard. And the unit will be ampere meter square, because current is ampere, area is meter square. Number of turns has no unit. Number of turns has no unit.
What was the another formula?
Another formula was M is equal to Qm into 2L. That is from 11th standard. Pole strength into magnetic length.
Sir,
Tell me.
सर मीटिंग कैपेसिटी 100 ही है क्या? और बच्चे ज्वाइन करना चाहते हैं बट वो लोग हो नहीं पा रहे हैं ज्वाइन.
No, meeting capacity is more.
ओके सर.
Finished this much?
Sir, we have to write M is equal to Qm into 2L, no?
Not necessary. This is not necessary.
Okay.
And angular momentum formula is MVR.
What is M in that Qm into 2L?
Someone was saying something?
Sir, what is M in that M into 2QL? Qm
Pole
into
strength.
2.
Pole strength. QM is 2. QM is pole strength. Okay, so 1 Gauss is 10 power minus 4 Tesla. This you have written. Magnetic moment is equal to NIA you have written. And angular momentum L is equal to MVR. This also you need to write. Let me tell you one thing. Linear momentum P is equal to MV. Everyone is aware of this formula. And angular momentum is L is equal to MVR. Now let me know whether this formula you know or not. L is equal to MVR. Okay. This is called angular momentum formula. L is equal to MVR. What does M stand for? Mass. What does V stand for? Velocity. And what does R stand for? Radius. What does R stand for? Radius. Angular momentum is MVR. What does M stand for? Again, let us repeat. What does M stand for?
Mass, velocity, radius.
Now, let me repeat. This is for you also. This is for you also. Listen to me carefully. We have studied 5 formulae right now. All 5 are not actually a part of magnetism, but they will help you in the chapter magnetism. What is the first formula? Magnetic flux. Just check. What is the first formula? Magnetic flux phi. What is the first formula? Magnetic flux phi. And what is the formula for magnetic flux? B into A. Second formula was magnetic field of induction, B. What was the formula for magnetic field of induction? Flux upon area. Third, what is the conversion between Gauss and Tesla? The conversion between Gauss and Tesla is 1 Gauss is equal to 10 power minus 4 Tesla. Fourth, magnetic moment formula is M is equal to NIA. And what is the unit of magnetic moment? Ampere meter square. Fifth one, angular momentum. Angular momentum formula is MVR. Angular momentum formula is MVR. So these are the 5 things you should know before we actually start with the chapter of magnetic materials. So everyone please confirm whether
Sir,
you have
what is the
made note
conversion of Tesla?
Come again. What is the?
The first formula you said, sir.
First formula was not of Tesla. First formula was a magnetic flux. Phi equal to BA. Magnetic flux is equal to magnetic field of induction into area.
Sir, can you repeat the unit of magnetic moment?
Ampere meter square. Okay. Now, what is the general formula for magnetic moment? Everyone, now we'll come to this chapter. What is the general formula for magnetic moment? The general formula for magnetic moment is M is equal to NIA. General formula for magnetic moment is M is equal to NIA. Correct? Now, the topic starts with, or the chapter starts with, this particular thing. See the side heading. Magnetic moment of an electron revolving around the nucleus of an atom. Write down the side heading, then we will start with the first topic. Write down the same side heading. Magnetic moment of an electron revolving around the nucleus of an atom.
Sir, what is the page number?
What is it?
So what is the page number?
Page number, I don't know from the text. This is my own material, but it's chapter 11. Just check.
Sir, in
11.3.1.
textbook, page number is 254.
Sir, will you share this thing?
Yes. Everyone should have their camera on. Okay. Otherwise, we'll be going out to the waiting room. Okay. Now listen. The topic is, listen to this, magnetic moment of an electron revolving around the nucleus of an atom. What is the topic? Listen to me carefully. You know the general formula for magnetic moment. General formula for magnetic moment is NIA, correct? They are not asking you general formula. They are asking you a very specific thing. They are saying, what is the formula for magnetic moment of an electron which is revolving around the nucleus? Okay? Okay. For example, what is the general formula for area? Tell me. Length into length, length
Length
square,
into breadth.
L square, correct? General formula for area is L square. But if I tell you what is the specific formula for area of a triangle, then can I say the formula will become half into base into height, correct? Specific formula. In general, I can say area is meter square. But if I get a specific scenario that I have to find the area of the triangle itself, therefore it will become half into base into height, correct? Specific. Similarly, I know the general formula for magnetic moment. What is the general formula for magnetic moment? General formula for magnetic moment
NIA.
is equal to NIA. But now they're not asking me general formula. They're asking me a very specific case. They're telling me find out a very specific formula for magnetic moment. And what is the specification? I have to find the magnetic moment of an electron which is revolving around the nucleus. So now I have to get a specific formula for magnetic moment. For that, there is the derivation. The derivation is very simple. And remember, I will do the derivation and all of you please confirm if you have understood. Now to find the magnetic moment of an electron revolving around the nucleus, look at the diagram. I will first take the nucleus. And I will take an electron which is revolving around the nucleus. You know that electron has a negative charge, nucleus has the same positive charge. And let the electron go with velocity v and let the orbit have a radius r. Diagram is very easy. What is it? It is an electron which is going with the velocity v around the nucleus having radius r. Did you understand the diagram? Correct, Sidhu? You understood the diagram? Very good. So, you have written the side heading. Below that, draw this diagram, which is an electron revolving around the nucleus with velocity v.
Sir, what did you do from the previous slide? Magnetic moment of an electron revolving around nucleus.
Nothing, I just told you the side heading. Only the side heading.
So we have to write that and draw this diagram, right?
Correct. Below that right now, consider an electron revolving around the nucleus right now. Consider an electron revolving around the nucleus Consider an electron revolving around the nucleus with velocity v. Consider an electron revolving around the nucleus with velocity v. Let r be the radius of the, let r be the radius of the orbit. Let r be the radius of the orbit. Now listen to this. Now the derivation is, okay, now the derivation is, look at this. There are only two derivations in the chapter, okay? This is the first derivation. Now the derivation you should remember by the code word T-I-M-E, time. But see how I have written the code word. This is not to write in the exam. This is how you remember T-I-M-E. If you remember this code word, it will be very easy for you to do the derivation. If you remember the code word, it will be very easy for you to do the derivation. T-I-M-E. Now let me start one by one. Okay, let me start one by one. First, I'll find out T, then I'll find out I, then I'll find out M, and then I'll tell you what you need to do with E. Okay, so first let us find out T, which is time. Okay, now the first thing let me find out is time. Now everyone look at the screen. The derivation is already on the screen. I'll just be explaining it. Now time is the first thing I want to find out. Now the most basic formula for time is distance upon speed. Everyone agrees? The most basic formula for time,
Yes, sir.
is distance upon speed. Now what is the distance covered by an electron in one orbit? Can I say distance covered by an electron in one orbit is nothing but the circumference? And what is the circumference? 2 pi r. And what is the speed with which it is going? V, as in the diagram. Therefore, can I say time taken by an electron to complete one orbit around the nucleus is 2 pi r by v? This part is clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, time is equal to 2 pi r by v. Therefore, make a note below the diagram. Same way what I have done, just write down this much. Time is equal to distance by speed. Now, distance is nothing but the circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r divided by the speed. Speed is nothing but v, that is velocity. Okay, so this is the first part. Everyone finish it quickly. So the time formula is distance upon speed and it is 2 pi r by v. Now, next one is I. What is the I? Current. Okay, what is I? Current. Now everyone look at the second part, which is current I. Now, what is the most basic formula for current? Most basic formula for current is Q by T, because Q equal to IT. The most basic formula for current is charge upon time. Can I say in this case, my charge is charge of an electron E. Therefore, my Q will become E. And what is the formula for time? Formula for time you got from the previous case is 2 pi r by V. Therefore, current is equal to EV by 2 pi r. Just check and confirm whether you have understood what is current as well. Just check and confirm that you have understood what is current as well.
Yes, sir.
I is equal to Q by T. In our case, Q is nothing but charge of an electron and T is nothing but from the previous one, 2 pi r by V. Therefore, current is equal to EV by 2 pi r. Therefore, current is equal to EV by 2 pi R. Make a note. So we have finished T, we have finished I. We have finished T, we have finished I. So I got the answer. I is equal to EV by 2 pi R. Correct? I got the answer. I is equal to EV by 2 pi R. Correct, Aditi? Now. Next is M. Now what does M stand for? M stands for magnetic moment. What does M stand for? M stands for magnetic moment. Now, magnetic moment M is equal to, please look at the screen. Magnetic moment M, what is the general formula? NIA, correct?
MIA.
Now, M is equal to, since I'm considering only one turn of the electron, N is equal to 1. Current I got from the previous section as EV by 2 pi R, and area of the orbit is nothing but pi R square.
Pi R square.
Correct? Therefore, 1 pi,
Pi
and
cancel.
1 pi will cancel. R
1
and
R, 1
R.
R cancel.
Therefore, magnetic moment will be
EVR upon 2.
EVR upon 2. That is what is written over here. Check. So can I say I got my first formula for magnetic moment of an electron revolving around
N
the
is
nucleus?
1. You
EVR
consider it as
upon 2.
1 revolution.
We are considering only one revolution because here we have taken only 2 pi R distance traveled, because that was only one revolution. Okay. Now, M is equal to EVR by 2 is one of the first answers for your magnetic moment of an electron revolving around the nucleus. One of the formula. M is equal to EVR by 2. Now, look at the screen again. I got the formula for magnetic moment of an electron as EVR upon 2. Okay. Now, just notice the right hand side. You have V, we have R. Now just think about it. If I had mass also, look at the screen. If I had mass also, then can I say this would become M into
Angular
V into
momentum.
R, and I could have substituted that as angular momentum. If I had mass also in the numerator, I could have combined velocity, radius, and mass into one single term called angular momentum. But I do not have mass in the numerator. But can I get it? Can I introduce a term called mass in the
Yes.
numerator? Yes, but I cannot only introduce it in the numerator. I have to multiply and divide from the laws of mathematics. I cannot only multiply any term of my choice. I have to multiply and divide. Therefore, can I say magnetic moment is equal to EVR by 2. Let me multiply and divide mass. But what is it? Mass of an electron, because you're considering mass of an electron. Now can I say, if I multiply numerator and denominator by mass of an electron, this term becomes L. Therefore, can I say magnetic moment will become EL divided by 2ME. can I say this is my second formula for magnetic moment in terms of angular momentum, EL by 2me. Now this is your final answer, and this is also your second formula for magnetic moment of an electron, which is revolving around the nucleus. The first formula that you had was EVR by 2, and the second formula that you need to study is EL by 2me. And the next formula you need to study is EL by 2me. Okay.
Sir, we were finding the
Sir,
magnetic
office
moment
समझाओ
of electron. That's why we
ना.
considered its mass only, right? Not the complete atom.
Correct.
Sir, can you explain again?
Yes. Aditi, just for you, I'll explain again. Okay, now listen. I'll do it on a blank screen. Okay, now listen to me. The derivation is TIMME. Now, did you understand why did I write? Look at this. I wrote TIME. Now, did you understand the last part? Last part was I multiplied and divided by mass of an electron. That is why I have written the code word as TIME. So first I'll find time, then I'll find current, then I'll find magnetic moment, then I'll multiply and divide by mass of an electron. Okay, so now let us start with time. I'm doing it again on the screen, just check. Let us start with time. So what is the general formula for time? Distance by speed. Now distance is nothing but the circumference, which is 2 pi r upon v. Correct? Everyone look at the screen. Correct? Now, this is T. Now what is I? I is nothing but charge by time. Q equal to IT, I equal to Q by T. Now I is equal to Q. In this case is charge of an electron E divided by time is 2 pi R by
2
V.
pi r upon v.
Or I is equal to EV divided by 2 pi
2
R.
pi r.
Now, magnetic moment formula is NIA. Now N is 1. Correct? N is
Yes.
1. So magnetic moment is equal to 1 into current is EV by 2
EV
pi
by 2
R,
pi r.
and area is pi r square. Therefore, I get the formula for magnetic moment. I get the formula for magnetic moment as EVR by 2. Check. I get the formula for magnetic moment as EVR by 2. Therefore, my answer for magnetic moment is EVR by 2. Now, what do I do is I will multiply and divide by mass of an electron. If I multiply and divide by mass of an electron, this whole term becomes angular momentum. Therefore, M is equal to EL divided by 2ME. This is my second formula for magnetic moment. Now, the same thing is done over here. Just check step by step. So I want all of you to start doing it on your own and let me know whether you're getting the final answer. There are two final answers for this. One answer is this and the other answer is this. Both are formulae and both the formulae will come in your problems. One is M is equal to EVR by 2 and one is M is equal to EL by 2ME. Okay, so start.
Sir, in the last column, m is mass of an electron, no?
Correct. Me is mass of an electron.
Sir, the E is considered as the charge, right?
E is considered as the charge of an electron specifically. And everyone should know E, value of E, that is charge of an electron, that is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. And everyone should know the value of mass of an electron also, that is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31. That is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31. Yeah, sure, you can write it like this, no problem. Now, can you guys manage to do the derivation from the first step till the last? It's very easy. And make a note of the two formula. That is M is equal to EVR by 2 and M is equal to EL by 2ME. So everyone got it? I'll give you some time more and I want you to make a note of these two formulas. That is M is equal to EVR by 2 and M is equal to EL by 2ME. Okay, now listen to me. Next side heading, write down. Okay. Next side heading, write down gyromagnetic ratio. Gyromagnetic ratio. GYROMAGNETIC. Gyromagnetic ratio. Write on the side heading. Gyromagnetic ratio.
Sir, should we copy this?
No. Only write the side heading gyromagnetic ratio. Written?
Yes.
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
now listen
sir.
to me.
Yes, sir.
Now listen to me. Gyromagnetic ratio, how do you get? Listen. You got the final answer for magnetic moment of an electron revolving around the nucleus as M is equal to EL by 2ME, correct? This is the final result of your previous derivation. Now, in this derivation or in this formula, tell me the terms which are always constant, means they will not change in any problem. So can I say charge of an electron will not change? Any problem, it will remain 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. 2 is a constant which will not change. Mass of an electron will not change. Mass of an electron samiksha will be 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 itself. Correct. Therefore, can I keep all the constants on one side and all the other terms on the other side? So if I keep all the constants on one side, E by 2me will be on one side and L will go on the other side. Now, can I say M by L is equal to E by 2me? What is the speciality of this equation? The speciality of this equation is right-hand side is made up of terms which are always constant and left-hand side are made up of terms which will change depending on the question. Now, this equation, M by L is equal to E by 2me. I can say E to me are constants. And if I substitute the value of E, 2 and me, and if I put their values, I will get the answer 8.8 into 10 power 10 coulomb per kg. How do you remember this? You have to remember this as 8, 8, 10, 10. 8, 8, 10, 10. 8.8 into 10 power 10 coulomb per kg. Therefore, M by L is equal to 8.8 into 10 power 10 coulomb per kg. Now, this ratio, M by L, is called gyromagnetic ratio. Okay? Now, listen to me. If I ask you, what is the formula for gyromagnetic ratio? You will tell me M by L is equal to E by 2me is the formula for gyromagnetic ratio. If I ask you what is the value for gyromagnetic ratio, you will tell me it is 8.8 into 10 power 10. What is the unit of gyromagnetic ratio? Coulomb per kg. Now, how did coulomb per kg come? Please look at the screen. Charge of an electron, can I say will be coulomb? 2 has no unit because it's a number. Can I say mass of an electron can be given in kg? Therefore, can I say gyromagnetic ratio, the unit will be coulomb per kg because charge of an electron is coulomb and mass of an electron is kg. Is that clear? So the unit is coulomb per kg. Okay. What is the definition of gyromagnetic ratio? The ratio of magnetic moment to angular momentum is called gyromagnetic ratio. How did I get it? The ratio of magnetic moment to angular momentum is called gyromagnetic ratio. Did you understand this? Let me repeat. What is the definition of gyromagnetic ratio? Magnetic moment divided by angular momentum, or magnetic moment per angular momentum is called gyromagnetic ratio. What is the formula for gyromagnetic ratio? E by 2me. What is the value for gyromagnetic ratio? 8.8 into 10 power 10. And what is the unit of gyromagnetic ratio? It is coulomb per kg. Okay. How did I get gyromagnetic ratio? From my previous derivation, where magnetic moment M is equal to EL by 2me. I took L on the other side and then I continued. Constants on one side, variables on the other side, and then I continued. Is it clear? So you have written the side heading gyromagnetic ratio. Below that, write this as it is, then I'll continue the notes. Start. Yes, Balaji, that is correct.
Sir, what is the value of ME?
So where M mass of an electron 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. For people who do not know that. Can you hear me, all of you?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So for people who do not know the value of charge and mass, okay, the value of charge of an electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, and the value of mass of an electron is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. If you want, you can make a note of these two. Okay, these are general values in all subjects, they will not change. Charge of an electron is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, and mass of an electron is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. Correct, Aryan? Utkarsh, within some time I'll put you out because you show me a fan. Like that you should come in front of the camera. Okay. So what is the definition of gyromagnetic ratio? The definition of gyromagnetic ratio will be the ratio of magnetic moment. Right now, there are that. The ratio of magnetic moment. The ratio of magnetic moment. The ratio of magnetic moment per angular momentum. The ratio of magnetic moment per angular momentum is called gyromagnetic ratio. The ratio of magnetic moment per angular momentum is called gyromagnetic ratio.
Sir, can you repeat the
ratio of magnetic moment per angular momentum is called as gyromagnetic ratio. Got it, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
read this example. See, now the example is calculate the gyromagnetic ratio. Now, whatever they tell you, you should know the gyromagnetic ratio is 8.8 into 10 power 10 itself. It will not change. It will not change, correct? Gyromagnetic ratio will not change. It will be 8.8 into 10 power 10. They are saying calculate the gyromagnetic ratio of an electron, and they have given you charge of an electron and mass of an electron. So what is the answer? Just see. Gyromagnetic ratio is E by 2 me. They have taken E to me. Now you don't need to calculate this in the exam because it is already calculated and you already know the value. Therefore, you just have to show this step and then write the answer 8.8 into 10 power 10 coulomb per kg. So make a note of this question. Calculate the gyromagnetic ratio. You just have to show the step. You don't have to actually calculate. Directly need to write 8.8 into 10 power 10. Now in the exam, if you go to calculate and you get some different answer, and if you feel that you have discovered something new and the textbook was wrong, everyone was wrong, stop. You are only wrong. Write this value only. 8.8 into 10 power 10 coulomb per kg. Okay.
Sir, so gyromagnetic ratio will always remain constant.
Correct. Correct. So whatever scenario they give you, whatever condition they give you, your final answer should be same because it's a constant. Correct?
So 1 minute.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
None, sir.
Now the next topic is called magnetization. Next topic is called magnetization. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Side heading is magnetization. Okay, so write down this side heading, magnetization. Write down side heading, magnetization. Now look at the formula that I write. Magnetization is denoted by mz. Okay, magnetization is denoted by mz. And the formula for magnetization is magnetic moment per volume is called magnetization. This is the formula. So what is magnetization? Magnetic moment per unit volume is called magnetization. Now my question is, what will be the unit of magnetization? See, what is the unit of magnetic moment? Ampere meter square, correct? NIA, ampere meter square. And what is the unit of volume? Meter cube, correct? Therefore, can I say it will become ampere per meter or ampere meter minus 1? Therefore, can I say the unit of magnetization is ampere meter minus 1? Check. The unit of magnetization is ampere meter minus 1. Did you get it? The unit of magnetization is ampere meter minus 1. And the dimension will be direct. The dimension, if I want to write, it will be LMTA, correct? Ampere will be A1, correct? Meter inverse will be L minus 1, M0, T0. Therefore, the dimension is L minus 1, A. Did you understand unit, dimension, formula, definition? So let me repeat everything again. So magnetization is denoted by the letter Mz, magnetization, and the formula is magnetic moment per unit volume. This is the formula. The unit will be ampere per meter and the dimension is L minus 1 A1. This is the dimension. And how did they get ampere per meter? Because magnetic moment is ampere meter square and volume is nothing but meter cube. With that, I get the answer ampere per meter. And then the answer comes this. Okay. So make a note. So write down the side heading magnetization written. Below that, write down the definition. The definition is quite simple. Let me underline the definition. The ratio of magnetic moment to the volume of the material is called magnetization. Write down this definition only. The ratio of magnetic moment to the volume of the material is called magnetization.
Sir, can you repeat?
It is on the screen. Just check first two lines. I've underlined. The ratio of magnetic moment to the volume of the material is called magnetization. Below that, write down the formula. Mz is equal to M by V. Below that, write down the formula. Mz is equal to M by V. Below that, write down the formula. Mz is equal to M by V. Unit is ampere per meter. Unit is ampere per meter. And the dimension is L minus 1 A1. Unit is ampere per meter. And the dimension is L minus 1 A1. Unit is ampere per meter. And the dimension is L minus 1 A1. Unit is ampere per meter. And the dimension is L minus 1 A1. And below that, write down magnetization is a vector quantity. Below that, write down magnetization is a vector quantity. Magnetization is a vector quantity. Written?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now I want you to go through from the beginning, formula for magnetic flux, magnetic induction, angular momentum, normal formula for magnetic moment, two formulae for magnetic moment revolving around the nucleus, that is electron, formula for gyromagnetic ratio, and the formula for magnetization. These are the things we have done till now. I want you to revise. I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes, and then we will start with 1 or 2 problems. Okay, start. magnetic moment is denoted by capital M. Sure. Okay, now look at this question. Everyone look at this question. An electron in an atom is revolving around the nucleus. Everyone switch on your cam quick. An electron in an atom is revolving around the nucleus in a circular orbit of 5.3 into 10 power minus 11 meter. Therefore, radius is given as 5.3 into 10 power minus 11, correct? Radius is given, that means R is given with the speed of 2 into 10 power 6 meter per second. That means velocity is also given, that is 2 into 10 power 6 meter per second. And both of them are given in SI unit, so you don't need to convert into the SI unit. Find the resultant orbital magnetic moment of an electron. Therefore, see, R is given, V is given. I have to find the magnetic moment. So tell me which formula of magnetic moment will be applicable over here. First one or the second one?
M is equals to EVR by 2.
M is equal to EVR by 2, not EL by 2M. So first one will be applicable. M is equal to EVR by 2. Now, E you should know is 1.6, but they have also given inside the bracket that charge on an electron and mass of an electron. They have given both. Therefore, can I say by using the first formula for magnetic moment, that is M is equal to EVR by 2, I can get the answer for magnetic moment of an electron. Now, that is the same thing that they have done in the module also, and they have got the answer 8.48 into 10 power minus 24. I want you to start solving and get me the first part. Second part we'll do later. Do the first part. Start solving. Give me the first part.
Done, sir.
Sir, done.
Okay, everyone, finish it quick. Answer is on the screen also. It is direct substitution. And you should know why you have to use the first formula and not the second formula. Now look at the second part of the question. The second part of the question is find the angular momentum of the electron. Now look at this. Angular momentum of the electron L. Can I say the formula for angular momentum is mvr? Can I say the formula for angular momentum is mvr? Now, is m known? Yes. Is v given? Yes. Is r also given? Yes. So start solving for angular momentum. L is equal to mvr. So both the formula you should know. So I've used two formulae. The first formula I've used is this: m is equal to EVR by 2, and the second formula I've used is L is equal to MVR. So make a note of both the formula and start solving.
Done, sir.
Yes, sir.
Done.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. Now, we'll just do a recap of all the formula that we have studied today. Okay. So the first formula that we have studied today is flux, that we know was VA. Then we did B equal to phi by A. Then I said magnetic moment general formula was NIA. Correct. Then I also told you that angular momentum L is equal to mvr. Then I got magnetic moment of an electron revolving around the nucleus is EVR by 2 or EL divided by 2ME. Correct? These two formulae for magnetic moment of an electron. Then I've got gyromagnetic ratio, that is M by L is equal to E by 2ME, which is nothing but 8.8 into 10 power 10 coulomb per kg. Then I also got the formula for magnetization, which is magnetic moment per unit volume, which is magnetic moment per unit volume. Correct? Are you comfortable with all of these? Just check. We did so many formulas
Yes,
today.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the next formula, we will do the set of next 3 to 4 formulae. Okay, what is it, Molek? What do you want me to show? Yes, Sonia, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Malik. Now, next quantity is called magnetic field intensity H. Magnetic field intensity, and the formula is very simple. It is equal to Ni. Now it is very similar to magnetic field of induction, and in the future I'll tell you what is the exact difference. But now please remember two things about this. Magnetic field intensity is denoted by the letter H, and the formula is Ni, and the formula is Ni. Therefore, if you look at the unit, should be only ampere, correct? The unit should be only ampere, but it is always measured over a particular area. Therefore, the unit will be ampere per meter square. But don't write any unit right now. Write whatever I tell you. So write down side heading, magnetic field intensity denoted by capital H. Write down magnetic field intensity denoted by capital H. Magnetic field intensity, it is denoted by capital H. Magnetic field intensity, it is denoted by capital H. And the formula is H is equal to Ni, where what is N? Number of turns, and what is I? Current. N is equal to number of turns, and I is equal to current. N is equal to number of turns, and I is the current. N is the number of turns, and I is the current. Unit is not ampere. Don't write the unit right now. Unit will be actually ampere per meter square because that current is measured over a particular area. That is why. Okay, but the formula is H is equal to Ni.
Sir, what is N?
N is number of turns. N is number of turns. Done?
Done.
Okay. Now, the next quantity is called magnetic susceptibility, and it is denoted by the Greek letter xi. And the formula for magnetic susceptibility is magnetization per magnetic field intensity. Magnetization, I told you what is the formula. I told you what is the formula for magnetic field intensity as well. Therefore, the formula for magnetic susceptibility is mz by h. So write down as it is what I have written on the screen. Magnetic susceptibility xi is equal to mz by h. Magnetization per magnetic field intensity. Also, you should write that it is a unitless quantity. Okay, xi is unitless.
Sir, what is the definition of susceptibility?
The definition of susceptibility is magnetization per magnetic field intensity is called susceptibility. But you don't need to write the definition. You just need to know the formula. That is magnetization per magnetic field intensity. So you have written two formulae now. One is H is equal to Ni, and one is susceptibility is equal to Mz by H. Susceptibility is equal to Mz by H. Okay, everyone written?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now we'll do one more topic, and the topic is called, we will avoid, okay, susceptibility of return, Xi is equal to Mz by H. Now we will avoid doing any new formula today. I want you to revise this formula so that next class, when we do further formula, you are aware of this, okay? So we'll do only theory topic now. So till here, I hope all the formula are clear, all of you. Susceptibility is Mz by H, and below that you have to write susceptibility is a unitless quantity. You have to write down below that susceptibility is a unitless quantity. Clear? Okay. Now, there will be a problem of susceptibility like this, okay? Just read the question, then I'll tell you the shortcut. There will be a problem like this for susceptibility. Just read the question. The region inside a current carrying toroid winding is filled with aluminium having susceptibility of, now what is the susceptibility given as? Susceptibility is given as 2.3 into 10 power minus 5. 2.3 into 10 power minus 5. What is the percentage increase in the magnetic field? This is the question. So whenever you get a question like this, where susceptibility is 2.3 into 10 power minus 5, remember susceptibility does not have any unit. Therefore, susceptibility is 2.3 into 10 power minus 5. And I want to find the percentage increase. Whenever such a question comes in the exam, where you have to find percentage increase of susceptibility, you know which number comes to your mind when you hear the word percentage? Answer is 100. Therefore, what is susceptibility into 100? I will get 2.3 into 10 power minus 3. That's it. This is your answer. In the textbook, they have done all of this. You don't need to do that. Answer is direct susceptibility into 100 because this will come as MCQ. Therefore, 2.3 into 10 power minus 5 into 100 is 2.3 into 10 power minus 3 or 0.0023%. Okay, so read the question. And whenever such question comes, you have to just multiply 100 to susceptibility. While multiplying 100, don't make a mistake. Okay, so start. Make a note and answer is this into 100. Now, the next topic. Everyone switch on their cam. Now the last topic for today and the next topic is types of magnetic materials. Very interesting and very easy. Listen to me. Now, based on magnetism, there are three types of materials. Okay, based on magnetism, there are three types of materials. One is called a diamagnet, one is called a paramagnet, and one is called a ferromagnet. You might have studied this in your school or in chemistry. Diamagnetism, paramagnetism, ferromagnetism. There is something called as
Solid state,
ferrimagnetism.
sir.
Correct, solid state chemistry, correct? There is something called as ferrimagnetism also. There is something called as antiferromagnetism also. But from a physics point of view, you have three types of magnetic materials. One is diamagnet, one is paramagnet, and one is ferromagnet. So we have to learn some points about each. One, what is diamagnet, what is paramagnet, and what is ferromagnet. I will give you 2 to 3 points today. And next class, I will again fill with 2 to 3 more points. Okay. So listen to this. Based on magnetism, there are three types of solids. Based on magnetism, there are three types of solids or three types of substances. Diamagnetic substance, paramagnetic substance, and ferromagnetic substance. What are these? We will do one by one. Before that, write down side heading, magnetic substances. Write on the side heading, magnetic substances. Magnetic substances. Write down. Below that, based on magnetism, substances can be classified into three groups. Based on magnetism, substances can be classified into three groups. Based on magnetism, substances can be classified into three groups. First one, diamagnetic substances. Second one, paramagnetic substances. And third one, ferromagnetic substances. First one, diamagnetic substances. Second one, paramagnetic substances. And third one is ferromagnetic substances. Okay, diamagnetic, paramagnetic, and ferromagnetic. Got it? Diamagnetic substances, paramagnetic substances, and ferromagnetic substances. Okay. Now, what is diamagnet? What is paramagnet? What is ferromagnet? First, we'll do the definition and then we'll learn some points about it. And then we'll stop for today. Okay. So now, we have written diamagnetic substances, paramagnetic, and ferromagnetic. I'll give an example with relation to a teacher and students. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Let me take the page out. Okay. 1 minute. Now listen. Switch on your camera, everyone. So see a scenario. in a class, okay? So imagine there is a faculty in the class, and this is the first bench, this is the second bench, third bench. So now, whenever students enter the class, okay, listen to this. Some students don't like the faculty at all, so they go away from the faculty and sit in the last bench, okay? These kind of students are called diamagnetic students. Means they are repelled by the faculty. One more category of students are there. They are okay. They like the lecturer, like the subject, okay. They want to enjoy also, okay. Everything is medium. So they are called middle benches. You know what a middle bench is? Paramagnetism. Means they want to have fun from the last bench also, plus they want to listen also a little bit, okay? Both ways, okay? Dual sim. Third kind of people are very studious people. They love the faculty, they love the subject, so they sit on the first bench. Those are called ferromagnetic students. Okay, those are called ferromagnetic students or ferromagnetism. Those are called ferromagnetic students or ferromagnetism. Therefore, in terms of magnetism, substances which are repelled by a magnet weakly, substances which are repelled by a magnet weakly are called diamagnetic substances. Substances which are attracted to a magnet weakly are called paramagnetic substances, and substances which are very strongly attracted to the magnet are called ferromagnetic substances. Same way, students which are weakly repelled by the faculty are called diamagnetic. You can never be strongly repelled by the faculty. If you repel the faculty very strongly, you know what will happen, okay? You can hate the faculty, but only so much. You cannot hate them more, okay? Because then once they start hating, you'll understand. Then there is something called as paramagnetism. Paramagnetism means weakly attracted, okay, which is majority of people. And last one is ferromagnetism, which is strongly attracted. Therefore, diamagnetism is weakly repelled. Repelled means going away. Paramagnetism is weakly attracted. Ferromagnetism is strongly attracted. Therefore, listen to this. If I keep a magnet, okay, and if I keep anything next to it, if it repels, means if it goes away, it is a diamagnet. If it gets attracted but very weakly, it is a paramagnet. And if it gets attracted strongly, it is called as ferromagnet. It is called as ferromagnet. This is the basic definition of diamagnetic substance, paramagnetic substance, and ferromagnetic substance. Okay, basic definition. So you have written there 3 types of substances: diamagnetic substances, what is it? Paramagnetic substances, ferromagnetic.
Paramagnetic.
I want you to make 3 columns in your page. I want you to take a new page because you're going to write 7 to 8 points. Take a new page, make 3 columns. In one column, write diamagnetic. Another column, you write paramagnetic. Another column, you write ferromagnetic. Start. In one column, you write the side heading diamagnetic substances. In the next column, you write paramagnetic substances. And in the next column, you write ferromagnetic substances. Diamagnetic substances, paramagnetic substances, and ferromagnetic substances.
Done.
So under diamagnetic substances, write down the definition. Substances which are weakly repelled by a magnet. Substances which are weakly repelled by a magnet are called diamagnetic substances. Substances which are weakly repelled by a magnet are called diamagnetic substances. Substances which are weakly repelled by a magnet are called diamagnetic substances. Under paramagnetic, what will you write? Substances which are weakly attracted to a magnet are called paramagnetic substances. Substances which are weakly attracted to a magnet are called paramagnetic substances.
So can you repeat?
Substances which are weakly repelled by a magnet are called diamagnetic substances. Substances which are weakly attracted to the magnet are called paramagnetic substances. And substances which are strongly attracted to the magnet and substances which are strongly attracted to the magnet are called ferromagnetic substances. Substances which are strongly attracted to the magnet are called as ferromagnetic substances.
Sir, can you repeat ferromagnetic?
Substances which are strongly attracted to the magnet are called as ferromagnetic substances. Substances which are strongly attracted to the magnet are called ferromagnetic substances. Okay, now look at the screen again. Now, see here. These substances are called ferromagnetic, these students are called paramagnetic, and these students are called diamagnetic. Okay, now everyone look at the screen. Now, if the faculty goes away from the classroom for some time, okay, switch on your camera, everyone. Quick. Now, if the faculty goes away from the class for some time, diamagnetic were anyway not studying, were anyway not paying attention. Paramagnetic were paying little attention. But if the faculty goes away, can I say paramagnetic also will start enjoying with last bench? Correct. Middle benches, when the teacher goes away, even they start enjoying with last benches. But ferromagnetic first benches will continue to study even if the faculty goes away. Therefore, what can I say is diamagnetic substances cannot be permanently magnetized. Means diamagnetic substances or diamagnetic students cannot be permanently motivated. They will never be motivated. Paramagnetic students also cannot be permanently motivated because as soon as the faculty goes away, they start enjoying with the last bench. But the first bench student can be permanently motivated because even after the faculty goes, they are not bothered. They keep studying and they keep doing their work. Therefore, the second point will be, listen to this. Diamagnetic substances cannot be permanently magnetized. Paramagnetic substances also cannot be permanently magnetized because as soon as the magnet goes away, they stop behaving like magnets. But ferromagnetic substances can be permanently magnetized. This will be your second point. So write down. Diamagnetic substances cannot be permanently magnetized. Write down. Diamagnetic substances cannot be permanently magnetized. Paramagnetic substances cannot be permanently magnetized. And ferromagnetic substances can be permanently magnetized. Ferromagnetic substances can be permanently magnetized. So diamagnetic substances cannot be permanently magnetized. Paramagnetic substances cannot be permanently magnetized. And ferromagnetic substances can be permanently magnetized. Now, last point for today. See here. susceptibility. Now imagine susceptibility is your marks. Okay, as a student, what marks you get for a magnet? The marks that a magnet gets is susceptibility, that is Xi. You anyway have studied what is susceptibility. What is susceptibility? Mz by h, correct? Susceptibility is denoted by the letter Xi. Listen to this. Last bencher's marks will be negative. Middle bencher's marks will be positive, but it will be very low. And the first bencher's marks will be positive and very high, correct? The last bencher's marks will be negative. Middle bencher's marks will be positive but very low. And the first bencher's marks will be very high. I know there are some exceptions. You might tell I'm in last bench, but I'm getting good marks. This is general. So can I say, for a diamagnetic substance, susceptibility, that is the marks for a magnet, is negative. For a paramagnetic substance, susceptibility is positive, but it is low. And for a ferromagnetic substances, susceptibility is high. For a ferromagnetic substance, susceptibility is high. So please make a note. Please make a note.
Sir, can you repeat the third point?
For the diamagnetic substance, susceptibility is low and negative. Right now, for a diamagnetic substance, susceptibility is low and negative. For a paramagnetic substance, susceptibility is low and positive. And for a ferromagnetic substance, what it will be? High and positive.
High and positive.
We need to write 3 to 4 more points. So you leave that place below.
Diamagnetic, what was the sentence?
It is low and negative. Paramagnetic, low and positive. And for, yes, you're right now. And for ferromagnetic, it is high and positive. Written? For
Yes,
ferromagnetic.
Yes, sir.
Fourth point will be the example. So your homework is to write 3 examples for each. You can search online, you can search in the textbook. There are more than hundreds of examples for each. But for ferromagnetism or ferromagnetic materials, the best example is iron, nickel, and cobalt that I'm telling you right now. Fe, Ni, and Co. Iron, nickel, and cobalt are the examples for what? Ferromagnetic. Find out examples for diamagnetic and find out examples of paramagnetic. That will be your point number 4. Point number 5, 6, 7, I will tell you in our next class. So how many points have we written today under diamagnetic, paramagnetic, and ferromagnetic? 3 points.
3.
3. Fourth one is homework.
4th one is homework. Got it, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you say the first point of para? Substances which are weakly attracted to the magnet are called paramagnetic substances. Substances which are weakly attracted to the magnet are called paramagnetic substances. Okay?
So, are there any magnetic substances between para and ferro or di?
Yes. But we don't have to study that. There are many.
Okay.